God was smiling down on Aston Villa on Saturday. Villa Park's claret and blue god, Paul McGrath, that is McGrath, who got the divine nickname during his heavenly playing days for Villa, was back amongst his worshippers in B6 at the weekend. But Paul McGrath, my lord, was doing a different kind of lauding as he celebrated Jonathan Kodjia's winning goal against Bolton Wanderers. Image at Deek Pearce. The club legend flew over from Ireland at his own expense and was accompanied by friend and fellow Villa fanatic Declan Pearce. Declan, who can be found on Twitter at Deek Pearce, captured the moment when McGrath punched the air after Kodjia scored the only goal of the game from the penalty spot. During his Villa Park visit, McGrath also caught up with former Villa chairman Sir Doug Ellis, plus his old manager Brian Little and ex-teammate Ian Taylor. The former defensive colossus then met with current players and Irish compatriots Conor O'Rahan and Jake Doyle-Hayes. McGrath also made the day of brave fan Carter Carrington and his dad Marlon by posing for a photo with them at the match. Carter wears an artificial leg in Villa colours after being born with a condition called fibular hemimelia. Watch. Here's another reason why Paul McGrath is God at Aston Villa. Ranked Aston Villa are one of 7 championship clubs who have a higher average attendance than some of their Premier League counterparts. Despite dropping out of the top flight, supporters are still turning up in big numbers to roar their team on at Villa Park. Our Trinity Mirror number crunchers have set out the following divisions based on no criteria other than average attendances. 7 of the 20 Premier League clubs would be current championship sides, while Leeds, Villa, Sunderland, Sheffield Wednesday, Derby and Sheffield United all make it into the top tier. Albion and Blues are in the second tier based on their average attendances. Revealed. Every football club ranked by the level of its support. Wonderful Jack Grealish gets the final say over Mom. That was the delighted tweet a brave fan sent after the Aston Villa star gave him the day of a lifetime. Harrison Price, known as Harry to his friends and family, feared he would miss Villa's 10 championship victory over Bolton Wanderers after his latest course of chemotherapy on Saturday morning. His mother Stephanie was reluctant for Harry and dad Derek to take their usual seats in the Trinity Road stand because the 13-year-old's immune system is down as he battles a rare form of cancer. Harry was resigned to the fact Mum knows best because the cold and damp of Villa Park could have put the Solihull schoolboy at risk. Enter Grealish, who came to the rescue just hours before kick-off by inviting Harry and Derek to come and watch the match from his executive box at Villa Park. Dad Derek takes up the story. Harry is an outpatient at the moment, and on Saturday morning the nurse came to our house to give him the latest course of chemotherapy. Because the weather was a bit grim, his mom said there's not a cat in hell's chance of you standing out in the cold, wind and rain at Villa today. Harry put it on Twitter that he wasn't able to go to the game. He was a bit disappointed, but he understands he's got to be so careful because of his immune system. Then at about midday he got a message from Jack saying come and watch it in my box. It was brilliant. It was such a lovely gesture. We got to the game just before kickoff and Jack came down to meet us at the players' entrance. Some of Jack's family were in the box with Jack and they made us feel so welcome. We are so grateful to them all. Grealish has offered lots of support to the Price family since the Lighthall school pupil was diagnosed with the rare Philadelphia Plus strain of acute lymphoblastic leukemia around a year ago. In that time, Harry has made steady progress after courageously overcoming kidney failure and a blood clot on his brain. Grealish visited the family's Cheswick Green home to bring Harry some gifts and to spend time with him last December, and has kept in regular contact with the Villamard youngster, who has spent much of the past year in Birmingham Children's Hospital. Jack's been brilliant with Harry, said Derek. Not just on Saturday, but with the messages he sends him on Twitter. It's such a boost for Harry whenever he hears from Jack. He has sent him birthday messages and chats to him when he can. They've invited us to use an executive box before, and Jack and his dad Kevin supported a five-a-side tournament we did for Cure Leukemia earlier this year. Terry's message. John Terry is pumped up for the big month ahead as Aston Villa prepare to take on rivals Wolves and Blues in the coming weeks. The skipper reckons his side have set the standard after an impressive September, but knows they must maintain their form when the fixtures return in a fortnight. Up next for Villa is a trip to Molineux on September 14th, and Terry is already looking forward to the challenge. It's a huge game because Wolves are flying as well. It's always a tough place to go, he said. We've got Birmingham a few weeks later as well, so we need to keep performing, fighting for each other and our places. We've got to keep this momentum going as long as possible. It's been much better and we're closer to where we want to be. We're climbing the table, keeping clean sheets and winning football matches. It's given everybody a lift around the training camp, as well as Villa Park. The fans can feel that. The performances are there, they're much better and we're moving in the right direction. Villa mean business. Glenn Whelan reckons Aston Villa are a feared force once again. The Irishman was pleased to sign off with a win against Bolton Wanderers on Saturday to top off an impressive September where Villa picked up 14 points. October looks a lot tougher with games against Wolves, Fulham, and Blues on the agenda, but Whelan reckons his team are ready for the challenge. The way we are playing and the results we are getting, not many teams will want to play against us, he said. The two lads up top give us a target to aim for and are a handful. Then we are keeping clean sheets as well. It is about everyone knowing their jobs and their role. I think we are getting there now. Predictions versus reality. He says the Villa Park faithful don't have faith. Aston Villa recovered from a slow start to September to post 14 points from 6 matches. Frustrations grew as Villa began last month with back-to-back goalless draws against Brentford and Middlesbrough at Villa Park. But victories over Barnsley, Nottingham Forest, Burton Albion and Bolton Wanderers breathed life into Steve Bruce's championship promotion push. Villa owner Tony Chia said before September got underway that it was a crucial month when results only matter. This is how you voted. Bruce and his players delivered, but what were fans predicting before last month kicked off? We've delved back to a poll we ran around a month ago, and guess what? Almost half of you were bang on. 47% of those who voted reckoned Villa would finish in the 10-14 points bracket. The next most popular points category was 59 points, with 26% of fans predicting that return. Some 15% of you thought Villa would do better than they did, tipping them for 15-18 points in September, but for Scott Hogan's goal line clearance from Conor O'Rahan in the Borough draw, you would have been right. Form table. Aston Villa have a fortnight to reflect upon a successful September and to plan for more of the same in October. Over the past 6 matches, Villa are the form team in the Championship, picking up 14 points during that period. Their table climbing haul came courtesy of draws against Brentford and Middlesbrough and victories over Barnsley, Nottingham Forest, Burton Albion and Bolton Wanderers. Fellow risers Bristol City and Norwich City boasted the same 14-point returns over the last half a dozen games, but Villa's run eclipses them as they have a superior goal difference. Image www.soccerstats.com. Villa's +9 over 6 games, whereas Bristol's is +8 and Norwich is +4. Leaders Cardiff have only accumulated 9 points over the past 6 matches, the same as early pacesetters Leeds United. Second-placed Wolverhampton Wanderers. Villa's next opponents have gathered 13 from a possible 18. Villa's run of results has lifted them up to 7th in the actual championship table, just 1 point off the playoff positions. Form table courtesy of soccerstats.com. Setting the standard, Aston Villa picked up 14 points in September to close the gap on leaders Cardiff City to just 5 points. So what made it such a good month? Our man at Villa, Greg Evans, reports. We want our Villa back. The claret and blue faithful called for Villa to show some fight and courage as they tracked down the league leaders. But more importantly, they wanted an identity. Villa are no longer dull and boring. They're starting to take the game to their opponents. Unbeaten run. Villa picked up 14 points from a possible 18 to fly up the table and finish the month in 7th place. Draws against Brentford and Middlesbrough at home made it a steady start to September, but they finished with a flourish, seeing off Barnsley and Burton Albion in style. Fun on the road. The away day blues have been banished, hopefully once and for all. Back-to-back victories on the road at Barnsley and Burton helped Villa record consecutive away victories for the first time in over 3 years. Villa also smashed in 7 goals on their travels without reply last month and will be hoping to take that form into the big games with Wolves and Blues this month. Aston Villa have set the standard after a stunning September. Ross McCormack admits that his time at Aston Villa so far has been a disaster. There's no two ways about it. McCormack signed under Roberto Di Matteo during the summer before last after being one of the most prominent players the Championship has seen in the last 5 years. Yet the Scott didn't make the desired impact at Villa Park and, after a less than successful move to Nottingham Forest last season, has taken another stab at a loan move to resurrect his career in Australia. McCormack could make his debut this week for Melbourne City, and he has dismissed the notion that helps headed down under simply to enjoy an extended holiday. "I'm not the kind of guy who wants to basically collect money and do nothing," McCormack told Fox Sports Australia. I've always said I wanted to come to Australia or the MLS to play, and I think it's actually a blessing in disguise that it's come this early, not when you're coming to the end and you can make an impact. Its time at Villa been a disaster. There's no two ways about it. I scored 4 goals and played something like 25 games. If you look at the 5 years before that, I was averaging over 50 games a season and probably over 20 goals. I think most players have a dip in their careers. Hopefully that was mine.